Division 7, ladies! And well, at least given the team names, we have a good one today. There's a bit of a backstory too, but I'm going to tell you all about that in just one moment. First, we're heading into map number 1 of the best of 3 series, Alterac Pass, and on the left side, just the tip, a bunch of Josh Wolf fans apparently. With Horse on Mal'Ganis, Warren on Medivh, Baza on Kira, Vasabaten on Morales, and Mini on Li Ming. And over to the right side, in Panic, a little bit of a throwback, my old and I guess current team, Firan on Tyrell. We have we have Dude Overkill on Imperius, Jakova on Uther, Agroa on Hanzo, and Melman on Stukov. I gotta say that I pretty much know none of these guys except for Firan, unless they're using Smurf accounts here. But in Panic is actually a clan that I, back in the days in Warcraft 3, when I was still at school, founded together with Eclipse. So the two of us founded a Warcraft 3 clan, and that pretty much held strong throughout StarCraft 2 to an extent as well. And now the boys and girls are getting back together because Reforged is coming out. But with that said, also a quick explanation of what we're actually looking at. So this is Division 7, which means that everybody involved here is roughly between gold and bronze on average. So it's gonna be a little bit of a shit show, but it's gonna be a funny shit show. And we're also gonna talk a bit, of course, about how people could improve here. But we're also gonna rip into the players. So for just the tip, that means that they are on board with that, as are most of the Division 7 teams. Pretty much all, honestly. And within Panic, I don't know. And to be honest, I don't give a shit, because my team, I can rip into them as much as I want. Then again, they just formed in Heroes. They just want to have a little bit of fun as far as I know. So from the old setup here, I think I only know Firan. Unless, of course, there's a couple of guys that are smurfing the shit out of the game right now. But either way, gotta come back to the blue team. I'm not quite sure if this is just a sexual comment or if just the tip is actually a bunch of Josh Wolf fans. But if they are, then kudos to them and a big shout out. And if they're not, then they should definitely check him out. Guys, if you don't know who Josh Wolf is and you want to have a bit of a laugh, go to YouTube, check him out. You're not gonna regret it. Thank me later. So, with our little setup here, we actually have a Morales in play. When I saw that, I was for the first time thinking of we could maybe see something along the lines of a good old backdoor strategy with a bit of medevac action. Kind of doubt that a bit, given the setup here. I mean, it doesn't really lend itself to any kind of backdoor shenanigans, so nothing that we could see with that. But we have a double support on the side of In Panic, and as much as it pains me to say it, the lineup that they're running here is pretty meh. Because usually when you see Uther these days, he's either played as a side laner or as a main tank, even after the nerfs that Blizzard pushed through to make him a little bit less tanky. And, like, I don't know, but right now they're playing this together with Tyrael, so they have shields too, and on top of that, Stukov plus Uther plus also, I mean, it's just insane. This is like, give me all the sustain! And they have one damage dealer. Hyper Carry Hanzo is ready for action. So all of the damage rests on his shoulders. Probably not all of it. I mean, Tyrael can pack a punch too if he's played correctly. So there's that. But still. When it comes to the talents, we actually see the Dust of Appearance now taken too. Not really what I expected here from Medivh, but hey, he's working on his stacks on the baseline, sitting at 10 right now. And, well, with that said, the first prisoner camp is up. Traditionally, you see teams ignore that more or less and just, like, stay on lane and wait until level 7. And that's always what you should do. Delay the entire thing until level 7 and then go for the fight. But we are in Division 7 for a reason. So once that the objective spawns, everybody is just like, Geronimo! And running straight into battle. You only YOLO once, baby. That's the rule in this game, apparently. And yeah, they're going for it. They're trying to get a couple of early kills in. And this is exactly what you do in Division 7. You just brawl until the end of the game. At least when we're looking towards Li Ming, who's currently fighting it out with Hanzo. We have currently dominance on level 4. Even Warren is now getting locked up, and he's already low. 15, and he gets dropped. No more stacks for him. Reset to 0, loses the 15 stacks that he acquired. Could have actually tried to get away with a portal, maybe. Khaldor apparently was ready. That one isn't taken yet either, and with even Morales trying to help out Kira, it seems like with another stun we could have a kill, and they're getting the stun in against Mal'Ganis. They're trying to. All the sustain that we're seeing from In Panic is currently working out. They didn't panic too much in the last fight, so you gotta give them that. But that means that they're slightly ahead now. Nobody's, by the way, soaking all of the experience at the bottom of the map, which brings me back to my initial point. You really want to do all of this around level 7, not before. But in the meantime, we have the blue team sneaking up onto the prisoner camp again. And the red team just said, oh my god, look at this. It's magnificent. What is it, Chief? What is it? It's a mercenary camp. Oh my god, we gotta get it right now. But sir, what about the objective? We don't care about objective, it's a mercenary camp. Do you know nothing, Jon Snow? And well, apparently they know enough to take the mercenary camp, but they give up the objective for that, so... yeah, I'm not sure if that's really the trade that you want to go for. So, despite the fact that they got the kill, they give up the entire objective for the simple joy of having a couple of gnolls running down the lane. And I don't know, that doesn't really do all that much, but they gotta defend, so let's see how that's gonna pan out for them. When it comes to the talents, we have on level 7 Calamity taken, so our Li Ming over here at least knows what she's doing, at least in theory. Now, of course, she has to apply that, but it seems more and more like she's losing those one-on-one battles that she has against Hanzo. Agro is doing whatever he can to get a couple of those hits in, and look at that! He definitely drank his juke juice today. Is juking everything out, up to the point where Uther is gonna help him too, and another little jump, and off he goes. Problem is that the tower goes too, and at the bottom of the map nobody is helping with the defense, which pretty much means that this one is going to crush through this. Mid lane, similar picture, with even more damage being done. Fountain nearly destroyed, but up at the top, where's that stun when you need it? Stun into the silence. Let's go, baby. We really need the virulent reaction for Melman. He needs to have a virulent reaction on level 13, and I'm always terrified when I see a Stukov in a setup where virulent reaction would really help you out. Which, to be fair, is pretty much every single time you have Stukov in the game. Because a lot of the Stukov players on the lower level, they just are like, nope, don't think so. But yeah, let's have a bit of a look at this. Currently topside, Li Ming trying to take the last tower down. Melman is the only one trying to deal with this. So Stukov against Li Ming. It's a little bit of a new setup that we didn't have yet so far. Because Hanzo is busy. You guessed where? At the mercenary camp. Oh my god, look at it. It's magnificent. Opponent is pushing into the mid lane against the fountain and the fort. Doesn't matter. We take another camp, baby. It's all about the camps. Alrighty. So let's see what we have currently happening with Stukov. It's the Stukov flank. Who doesn't know about the Stukov flank? It is very common in Division 7. Very mixed results. Let's put it like that. In this case, Stukov wants to have a bit of a piece of the action, and they have level 10 now. Is that an arrow somewhere? Arrow? No. Maybe something? Apparently not. So, Sanctification. Oh, talking arrow! Meme Strike, baby, all the way! Okay, Meme Strike is in. More stuns from Uther. And yeah, Meme Strike is gonna be a little bit funny here. I'm not sure how much he's gonna get out of this. We have a lot of Meme Strikes in Brawls and ARAMs, and there, especially with the level 20 upgrade, you can obviously get quite a lot. Even back in the days when Mena was still playing Heroes of the Storm, we saw towards the end 1 or 2 games with Meme Strike. In this case, it didn't need anything. Spray game on point, by the way. I like it. Kira goes down, and that's kill number 2 for the boys in red. Nicely done. Already everybody pushing straight through again. Mal'Ganis is coming in from behind, and that might have been a bit of an issue. As they're stunned, ignores the portal, can't click that shit, too many opponents around. And Li Ming is at the bottom of the map. Now, Li Ming shouldn't really be in a side lane position here, to be absolutely fair. She's trying to actually match Imperius right now, and that in and of itself is going to be a bit of a tough battle. Also, we have again Disintegrate taken on Li Ming. As we said in the past, this is a bit of an issue, because usually you want to play way for 4, since it's just way more utility in these fights. But if you're not really a great Li Ming player, then going into Disintegrate might be something where you feel you get more damage out of it. But traditionally, it's a talent that is more or less solely taken against the Nubarak, because you can insta-kill the Cocoon. And that's, of course, a fantastic trade on the cooldown with the heroic abilities. Yeah, but generally speaking, you want to try and adapt to Wave of Force and really practice for that. Wrath, by the way, that's interesting on Imperius, but then again, they have a lot of sustain already as is, and if he gets a good Wrath off and they just start to stun the target with Uther and Stukov, that's actually a really dangerous setup. Li Ming with that self-stun isn't helping her case either. And I'm not quite sure why he didn't just go for the ult. There we go. It's time for the stun. It's time for a little bit of party time, but the ley line destroys the place. Medivh has already completed his own quest. Hanzo is, by the way, down. Kira kicked his ass straight back to Wakanda. And in comes the attack with the nano boost on Kira, and she's just going for the but quickly destroyed by a very, very nice sanctification. And the stun again against Kira shortly after. That could have been a kill. I gotta say that it's impressive that the blue team was able to save her ass here. But that could definitely have been a counter kill. It was a nice stun combo, just not enough damage in that instance to really help them out. So with that taken, everybody again going for the objective. This time the red team is going for it too, and it's actually a little bit of a mystery because we have still a mercenary camp up. But apparently this time they don't care about it too much. At least they're not making any moves there, and thank God for that. So they finally realized that it might be a bit more advantageous to go for the objective instead. Obviously, Mal'Ganis is ghosting around again. There's the portal already. Not sure where that's supposed to lead, but yeah, a little bit of an escape path. Here comes the arrow. Nearly the kill, and the stun seals the deal. Yep, Kira is going back to Wakanda as well. And he went a little bit ham here. I mean, he is really deep right now. And Imperius is going for 1 versus 3. Is that a kill? No, too much staying. Quest completed though, and a nice stun setup. But yeah, they're poking from a distance. Alrighty, so let's see what we're gonna have with that. I mean, for now, it's just like really the idea of maybe getting an objective for yourself, but outside of it. By the way, look at Morales here. The life support on level 1, straight into the physical therapy on level 7. I mean, I might need a little bit of therapy after this game as well, or after this match, at least when it comes to psychological therapy. You see already a speech impediment right there. And all of that thanks to talents and choices that are being made in this game. So let's see how this is going to pan out right now at the top with the double stun. Where's the follow-up? The virulent reaction. Come on, baby. There we go. And there's the kill. Nice. The ley line comes in too late. Li Ming is down. Tyrael with the kill. And here comes the Wrath as they're trying to drop another target. The stun is in, and there's the kill. Morales gets Hanzo'd. And they are trying to drop another one, going straight in for Kira. Once again, Stukov with the attempt. And they are all on the run. Just too much sustain on this setup. Double support plus the shields. Yeah, the meme strike doesn't really add any value here, but they get the kill regardless. Kira is down again, and with 6 kills against 1, they are looking at a magnificent lead right now. Now, even trying to go for another kill here, and they might actually get it against Mal'Ganis. He's barely able to make it out with the Fell Claws and the mobility. Stukov, in the meantime, is sitting in the middle. It's like, boys, I need help. Doesn't get anything, though. So that fort is gone. If they get the objective, it might just still be worth it. Also, the Hunted now for Kira. I've never seen that talent in a competitive game, I gotta admit. And the interesting part about it is that it is very appropriate because she is getting hunted down. How many times did she die? 3 times? Yep. 3 deaths on her already. 31,000 damage for Hanzo, and we have 37,000 for Medivh, the top damage dealer for the blue team. Just the Tip is trying to get another objective, and Fiora is running out of mana very quickly. But we still have our boy Imperius going strong here. And this time, meme strike value. Look at that. Morales down as Tyrael comes back in again after the quick tap at the bottom of the map. And they're not stopping there. They're carrying the momentum towards Mal'Ganis and take him down too. And now it might be the end of Kira. Yep, she has been judged and she has found to be unworthy. Tyrael came in and said, it's judgment day, baby. And yeah, now the interrupt attempts here of Medivh and of Li Ming, but even that doesn't do anything. I have no idea why he just used his Divine Storm. That didn't make any sense whatsoever. But hey, R buttons. Always happy to press those, right? So with that said, massive support setup here. I mean, if you're going up against someone that has this much support, you have a couple of options how to deal with it. Depending on the type of support that they have, AoE might be your friend. Outside of that, stuns and burst damage are usually your best bet here. But in this setup, they're really struggling to get anything done here. And yeah, right now, maybe even a little bit of a global game, you know, not even playing their game, but there is no global, which actually surprised me a little bit. This is one of the biggest maps that we have in the pool. There's no Dehaka, there's no Falstad, there's nothing that they're rocking here. Samuro might have been a good choice for this one too. But either way, we're currently sitting at the bottom of the map with the first push coming in. And there's only Li Ming for the defense. So, yeah, vision is already granted. Hanzo is taking apparently a bit of a vacation. But could definitely, yeah, that's the setup that you want. I mean, she's pretty much self-stunning herself. So, yep, 16 talents on her also in. Hanzo continues with a flawless technique after he went into the fleet of foot. So all about the Stormbolt here. And a kill at the top against Mal'Ganis, whereas in the middle, they're trying to somehow deal with Imperius. And even that seems to be a bit of a challenge for the blue team now. They're getting crushed in game number 1, I gotta admit. Oh, another stun, another kill. Oh boy, they are murdering them. 2 forts down. Not to be mixed up with 3 doors down, that's something different. But the one in the middle, they could not quite take. So, well, Li Ming currently trying to at least laser this one away. And she gets that done, but that objective phase, that hurt. That one hurt quite a bit, so yeah. I mean, again, it's game number 1. It's a best of 3 series, but at least in the first game, the double support hero composition caused a bit of a bad awakening for just the tip. So, yeah. I mean, if they watched the last Josh Wolf video, then maybe they might still be distracted and laughing a little bit too hard, so that might be the reason. But if they want to come back into this, then they have to win a team fight soon. Or just hope to turn it in game number 2 and then force the 3rd game. One of the 2 here. We will actually find out soon enough. For now, it's all about the level 16 talent. The blue team needs it to take even fights against in Panic. And top side, that's what we're currently still seeing. Warren get some experience for the team too, and it's enough to get them to the next talent. So level 16 it is. With that, we now have also the Arcane Charge. Like, no portal talents for him whatsoever, by the way. Like, absolutely none. And Kira went into Swing Life Away. Again, the best thing that you can actually do is really just adjust your talents a little bit and see what the meta builds are these days. And for that, you should always watch some of the better teams, the former pros, for example, that still play the game. With the important caveat that you shouldn't copy what they play in Storm League, because a lot of them are just memeing around since they're way overqualified in Storm League. But more so what they're actually playing in competitive matches that still exist. That's where you will see them try hard a lot more. Because in Storm League, oftentimes you will just see them fun around and see what they can get away with. Since the opponents, even if they're high Grandmaster, are just nowhere near on their level. 1 kill against 12. A little bit of a sad statement right now for just the tip. So the blue team with a desperate attempt to maybe get another objective, but they need to wait for Kira to come back. They can't poke around here for too long. They have to attempt to interrupt for as long as they possibly can, but they can't actually engage into a full-on fight. And they are moving in way too hard right now. It's a bit surprising, to be honest. Here comes the meme strike with a meme value, aka nothing. And it seems like we might actually see a kill. Stukov gets attacked by Mal'Ganis. Leyline is now out too. Kira is back to business, but they are really far out, and there's the stun connect again from Imperius. He had a couple of fantastic connects throughout the entire game already, I gotta say. And Li Ming, don't tell me she actually survives this. Nice save, Stukov. Well done. Stukov saves Li Ming on the other side. I always suspected that the two had something going on here, and that more or less confirms it for me. But Morales is down, and with the stun against Mal'Ganis, they might just be able to add a second kill to the equation, and there it is. Take it down, easy peasy. And that's the end of Medivh. Alright, screw that Raven. Already pushing here. Nobody, by the way, going for the objective. Objectives are overrated, as we learned earlier. Level 20 talents are ready. If you go and push this far, you might as well go for the keep, boys. Alright. So they don't go for the objective, they don't go for the keep, but they go for the boss, and they do it in plain sight since there's still a wall. I mean, you couldn't telegraph it more if you tried. 15 kills against 1 is still looking so... this is pretty decent. Divine Storm got upgraded, so did, by the way, Sanctification. So we have Holy Arena and the Divine Hurricane. The Brand of Solarian is still in, and the Dragon Awakens. Okay, it's time for the cooldown reduction here. But what are they going to do with this? Are they actually going to let the boss push by itself? Or do they at least attempt to take that keep down and maybe catapult it forward towards the core? Because they should push with it at least a little bit. Keep one hero over here to deal with the objective. Have him close, don't fully engage into a fight. and then push. And it seems like that's exactly what they're doing. So they're currently going for it straight away, and it should at least net them the keep. But again, if you kill in that situation, let's say a hero or two like this, then you can go for the core. And there's the kill. Yeah, Medivh definitely not expecting that one, so that didn't really play out for him. Imperius is still taking the objective, and that's a good one. But with Morgana's down, I mean, there is no doubt where this one is headed, right? I mean, this needs to be an attempt to go for the core, especially with the silence set up against Kira now. And she's dead again. I mean, she's dead and tired of actually playing here. She wants to go back to Wakanda. There's at least good weather there, you know? She's entering Alderac Pass. She's like, what is this shit? Snow? I don't like that. 18 against 21, 18 kills against 1. I mean, do you need any more numbers? Objective is taken, and that's gonna be game. Game number 1 claimed, as In Panic takes the lead against just the tip. Not a good game for the Josh Wolf fans, but let's see if they can turn it in game number 2 as we're heading into the next game of the best of 3 series at Division 7 here. GG and well played. Game number 2, it is Dragonshire, ladies. And, well, In Panic is in the lead, but just the tip is ready to come back, and boy, did they go for a lineup. Whew! That's the real Division 7 right here. Triple backline Lili Muradin. Oh, yeah. Horse on Muradin. Usually it's Muradin on a horse, but this time it's a little bit different. Vorin on Zagara, Baz on Lee. We have Vazabaten on Suljin, and Mini on Tyches. All the damage for them, whereas to the right side, Firan playing ETC, Agro on Tacita, Dude Overkill on Dehaka, Jakova on Tracer, and Melman on Stukov. A little bit of a weird setup to see the Tracer and Stukov combo, but Tacita is in the mix too. I mean, honestly, triple backline is hot shit. It always has been garbage, and it pretty much always will be garbage unless Blizzard really changes things. So it took the plebs in Storm League and Hero League a long time to finally come to terms with the fact that triple backline is just inferior to having a solid double frontline. All the cries for like, but we don't have enough damage, were finally put to rest after HGC played that shit already for 2 years. So these days, most of the time, you at least have a traditional second tank, or at least like a second melee. But they go for all the range damage here. And that will be interesting. I mean, we have a couple of tools against Tracer, and once again, like in the last game, it pretty much seems like In Panic is trying to have one main damage dealer do the deed here. We also have, well, we have Dehaka, and Dehaka is usually the global that you can use on a big map to control the objective. The problem is that Dehaka, first of all, this is a problem. Like, what the fuck is that? Really? Those two are now taking camps? That's gonna take an eternity, and it might enhance the push at the top lane. The problem is that Dehaka is on the wrong lane too. Because the entire idea is that you are having more of a 4-man setup at the bottom of the map, since the bottom of the map has access to 3 mercenary camps, 2 siege giant camps and 1 knight camp. So your solo laner is usually up at the top so that he can global down to the bottom. In this case, that solo laner is not only on the wrong map, that solo laner is also very quickly dead. And they're going top side, so they could push with this, and I hope they do. But there's already a few things going wrong on the red team side, and that could be a problem. Now in the middle of the map we already have 5 Stormbolt connects for the horse. Muradin is so far doing a decent job with this one. Also Mini needs to be a bit careful as he's running straight into the fight, but the level 4 talents are there for the blue team. The bomb on the other hand could be the end of Muradin, and oh my god, that little shit actually gets away with 50 HP. Jumps out, gets away, and we have the bigger they are now taken. Zagara is left alone at the bot lane, and that's never a good idea. Zagara has a lot of weaknesses, especially Tracer should try and take care of her. That hit point pool is way too small and can be easily exploited by her. But as long as you leave Zagara alone on the map, she is just going to murder you, and that's exactly what's happening here. I think this is a really bad sign for In Panic. I mean, they're falling apart at the seams here, and the game hasn't even started yet. They are having heroes on the wrong lanes, they're not dealing with the threats as they should. finally we're having someone going for Zagara here, who also went into the Serrated Spines, by the way, so trying to get the extra attack damage out, which is going to make Tracer's life later on a lot more difficult, because first of all, we have we have 3 auto attackers against Tracer. But this entire setup is worrying me quite a bit here. These combos don't make a lot of sense. Tassadar together with Dehaka, why? And he might not even live to tell the tale here, but even if he does, Tassadar should not be with Dehaka. That's not really his job. If you have to put him onto a solo lane, then you can always do that, if need be, for a little bit longer. But they are lacking a massive amount of wave clear here compared to the opponent. Now they're going for a potential kill against Zul'jin, and that drag was just beautiful. But even with it, they're not getting their hit because Tassadar... Oh, there we go. But Tassadar stormed a wave instead of using it here. Tracer gets a kill, and now we have 3 kills to 1. Alright. Red team is starting to gain a bit of momentum. They're starting to get a bit of a kill count. But I'm looking at that Zagara pretty much laying claim to the bot lane without any opposition, and I am worried. Now Dehaka comes in, and again, I don't really know why. But even if he connects that drag, I mean, first of all, he's dying. First of all, he burrows down. He's like, a suicide opportunity. Let's commit some Sudoku down here. So he goes down to the bot lane and immediately gets wrecked, and Tracer didn't even react to it. It feels like they're not using voice. At least it's a little bit of a weird setup that they're running, where it's just... There's a couple of things that just baffle me. The heroes that should work together don't work together. You have some of the heroes just making individual moves without the team following up on it. So there's a bit of a synergy issue that we have. Coordination looks different. But Firan with the interrupt attempt here in the middle. Maybe they got a little bit cocky after the last game, because let's face it, they murdered their opposition. But there's the Dragon Knight in the middle of a team fight. He just takes the Dragon Knight. Lydia says like, I want to be a dragon too. And she actually gets it. So, yeah. Dragon Knight rotates to the top. And in the meantime, Zagara has taken the bottom fort. Have I already said that it's a dumb idea to leave Zagara unattended all alone on the map? Yeah, that's the reason why. The fort is down. And you can just tell that Panic is in a lot of panic right now. I mean, they are panicking, for sure. They're trying to somehow deal with all of this shit now, but even if they kill Zagara, she's already done what she did to do. She needed to take down the fort, and that's what she did. We're also, I'm pretty sure we're going to see Nidus here. The global attempts that we have from Panic are just not enough to stop her, and Warren at this point might just think to himself, you know what? I'm going to Nidus the shit out of them. If they don't deal with me, I'm going to fucking wreck them. He has Infest on level 1, gets a couple of auto attacks in if he's needed in a team fight. And there we go. Yeah, it's a typical node against Eland setup that we currently look at here. I mean, the triple backline already is giving me a bit of eye cancer. And, yeah, this is not what you should go for. But it works in this case, because Panic is not getting their shit together. So right now we have Tracer still with the duty to get those kills in, and instead she's currently trying to go for a little bit more wave clear. I mean, again, you could, for example, swap out Stukov for Rhaegar. First of all, Malfurion obviously is still the support that meshes best with Tracer. That's the first thing. But outside of that, you could go for Rhaegar. He has a bit more chem clear by himself, so you don't need the constant assist of your damage dealer. Tassadar could be the one that moves in and helps out here. We have a force wall set up now for him. Personally, I think that with this lineup, they might have been better off going for Archon. There's more. No Nidus. Okay, surprise, surprise. Actually going into a more normal talent. Not for ARAMs necessarily, but for normal games. We have the drill on Tychus, which is also a little bit of a surprise. Especially since he also went into the bigger they are. So I expected Odin, but he's not going to commandeer that anytime soon here. Tracer missing the bomb, and, well, he doesn't even have to use Testingo. Heroic abilities are in, and with 10 stacks now in the baseline for Zul'jin, he's starting to hit a little bit harder. Another 5, he's going to have the range increase for his hero. Now in the middle of the map, Dehaka is currently doing his things. He might have to transition now a bit more towards the bottom of the map, because the fort has been destroyed, so that lane is pushing. Muradin is sitting at 11 Stormbolts. It's actually a bit late, considering that he also walked away early on in the game with 5 stacks. So I actually thought he would go for an incredible stack setup here. But that's not quite what we're seeing. Bottom of the map, yeah, they're 3-manning this right now. Alright, the camps are back up, and now there's really the question of how well do you use your global. They're the only team that has a global. He's literally the one that has to try and hold onto the lane. And more experience is lost topside because nobody's taking care of this. ETC is finally moving in, but that might have already been a little bit too late. And Mini just says, ooh, look at that. We can take the fountain down for free. Hell yeah, let's do that. So top lane control goes even more over to the blue team now. They are just murdering. We haven't really seen that many. Oh, there's a stage dive too. Okay, double global now for them. Well, Dehaka could now burrow towards the top and could to help out in the fight here. Doesn't do that. I'm not sure if he's on cooldown or not, but that's a kill against Tracer before anything starts. And she actually went straight into the untouchable. She gets touched a lot in this game. Not quite sure if you picked up on that, but there's a lot of touching going on here. Good drag though, and a little bit of a slap back, but the Maw is in, and even with the force wall, they can't hold her. Zagara gets away. And again, looking at the minion experience, both of the team have done an equally poor job to soak lane experience, so it's fine. Still both sitting on level 12, looking for 13 talents, but that push is still going strong. And Dehaka is barely getting out of this one. And they might just be able to take another fort down. But with the entire setup here, if someone moves bot side, that could be another quick Dragon Knight for the blue team. Actually, without mana and with that position, Warren goes down, Zagara is dead, and in panic is going for more kills. The jump, and it's not enough. They take the wall down, the force wall comes in, they're going for Muradin, and the horse is dead. And I don't really want to beat a dead horse here, but Muradin now also going into the Bronze Beard Rage instead of going into the healing static definitely contributes to this. So if you go into Thunderburn, you kind of want to make sure that you have the sustainability there. Firan, grenade, nope, on cooldown. Alright. Maybe a chance for In Panic to get a Dragon Knight. They have an opportunity right now. Also, the Virulent Reaction is in, so that is going to help for lockdowns and makes also Tracer's life a little bit easier. ETC is coming back too. And, well, what else are we gonna see? First of all, the quest completion, well, first quest reward for Suljin should be in just a moment. Has he used Tazdingo yet? Like, I don't know. Like, I see him running away a lot, but I haven't really seen him pop Tazdingo, so that still needs to happen. The drill is already in. Real man drill deep. If StarCraft taught us one thing, then that's it. But Tychus is trying to get the damage output out, and he's currently doing exactly that. Tracer went into the Ricochet. More and more heals from Lily as she's just throwing a little bit of a tantrum and just runs around. And for some reason it heals everybody. Your guess is as good as mine how that works. But here comes the quest completion for Tacitus. So a little bit more softening up from the AoE. Talking about softening up, that bot lane pressure needs to be dealt with too. A double catapult pushing into the wall. I mean, it's 10 minutes in, so it doesn't really do too much yet, but it's something you need to take care of at some point. So right now, mid lane, well, bot lane, sorry. You have the drag, come on, the drag, yes, and he has no isolation. 4 seconds until isolation. Yeah, he didn't see that coming. I gotta admit, I didn't see it coming either, so that was a little bit of a surprise to everybody. I think Dehaka included. He didn't know that he would burrow there too. So that's that. Well, we have, with now 3 kills against 5, a double control on the blue team side, and they're going for another Dragon Knight, but ETC is there right away. Alrighty. And guess what Zagara is doing? Zagara is going straight up to the top, and she's like, well, this game is bugging me a little bit, and I'm going to kill the shit out of another fort. Lily takes another one here. At least the kill against Tychus is in, but kills don't mean jack shit if you can't win the map. And the map is currently firmly in the hands of the blue team. Another fort eliminated. Tazdingo, always used to run away. I mean, yeah, 2 ults and they didn't get anything out of it, so I don't know. But if you already pop your Tazdingo, turn around and just murder her. You might not get the kill, but you're going to get a couple of stacks, and you're definitely going to take her hit points down a notch. So now we have, at the bot lane, some counter pressure. Dehaka has finally decided that it's time to take a few of the structures down of the blue team. Problem is, he went a little bit too deep with this. I love these burrows, by the way. They make 0 sense whatsoever. He's just like running around, and he's just like, oh, cooldown is ready, burrow. And Muradin didn't save the Stormbolt either to wait for the global move. It's absolutely perfect. I mean, the amount of fails in the single play are just fantastic, and I love that Dehaka comes back in just a moment later for more. really just like yearning for punishment. Lily goes down too. But yeah, random burrows, Muradin hammering the Stormbolt out, not holding it back. I mean, as we're poking some fun into this, let's just talk about that for a second. Guys, you need to learn what your opponent can do with their heroes. And if you're Muradin, for example, and you have a stun, and you know that you're going up against a hero that could possibly escape you because he uses his global, that you need to save that interrupt. If you use that Stormbolt, exactly what you just saw is going to happen. Once the Stormbolt is used, Dehaka is just going to say sayonara and is out of there. But if you save the Stormbolt, once that he starts with the animation, you just simply drop the hammer, and that's going to be the end of that. Yeah, those are plays, by the way, that don't really make a lot of sense. This is a play where you're just pretty much saying, I hope my opponent is shit. And then you realize you can't even take it. But yeah, every single time you're trying to invade your opponent's camp solo without anybody else being even close to you, that's the moment when you're just hoping that your opponent is really, really bad at what they do. Talking about people being really bad, down at the bottom of the map, you have a 4 versus 4 fight now. The camp has actually been taken, and the blue team is now trying to go maybe even for a few kills. You have Zagara and Dehaka still sitting topside and doing their thing. Tassadar, by the way, with a proper build. I just want to highlight that real quickly because I think it has to be pointed out. 39 stacks for Zagara on level 4. Nothing really insane. I mean, this isn't great or anything, but it is going to add up as the game continues. She didn't go into a creep talent on level 16 though, so instead it was the corrosive saliva that we're seeing played here. In the meantime, Tesdingo has a single stack on his level 1, that's a 2% damage increase, and they also have 20 on the baseline for him. So he needs another 10 to get the double swing on the axis. Did not go into Arcanite axis though, so he's actually not stacking on level 7, instead he went for Ferocity. So if you want to go for endless stacking, then of course level 7 is your friend. But when it comes to damage, it's Tychus who runs the numbers game. He's on 44,000, hitting the 45 any moment, with Tracer herself sitting on 40,000. But despite the fact that once more the red team has just an abundance of kills compared to their opponent, they are struggling just to hold on to the map. They haven't taken down a single fort yet, they haven't taken down a single fountain, which means that the opponent has a tap option for every single shrine fight. And they themselves have already lost pretty much everything. There's finally the Tracer control that we've been talking about, but they gave up the Dragonite for free. This is what Tracer should have been doing the entire game, taking care of Zagara. Zagara, when left alone, is gonna push the shit out of you, but at the same time, she has a super weak hit point pool, and she has no mobility. If you just jump on her and she doesn't have a bunch of creep tumors around that will give her vision, then you are in a great spot. Firan run... okay. Jumps in, dude overkill, is going for a Dehaka Shakalaka, and Tracer's getting her butt kicked, quite literally. But should still be able to escape here, unless Muradin gets the Stormbolt connected. Of course not. Alright, there's the recall. So much for waiting for what your opponent can do. So that already happened there. But now it's time to knock onto the keeps, which is what they're doing. Yeah, red team is even ahead in experience, if you think about that for just a moment. Think about all the passive experience that the blue team is accumulating now because they took down those 3 forts. And they're still behind in XP. The kills make it possible. But you need to do more than kills. You need to also follow up on them. We talked about this in one of the previous games, actually, in Division 7. If you kill someone, you have an advantage on the map, and you need to use that advantage. You need to either invade their camps, you need to try and do something. For example, this camp, once it's taken, if you have your 20, push to the top. Take this one down. Keep Dehaka at the bottom of the map to push all of this out, and then you can join the fight at the top. That would be a play that you can definitely try and execute. Right now, they already have the 20 any second. Yep, Tassadar is getting it for them. So now it should be a move towards the top side. Dehaka is sitting here though, and he has no business there right now. He should be at the bottom of the map instead. And he shouldn't be alone either, and that's the kill against Dehaka. So level 20 advantage, and the camp that was just taken evaporate without any value that was gained by it. Always try to make a few plays with that, set that up as just explained. That's one of the things that they could have done to finally take a fort down and maybe force a fight on that terrain. 6 stacks on Tracer. Little Miss Untouchable is still doing her thing, so far only dying 1 time, so that at least gives some credence to that talent choice. 55,000 damage by her, and Tassadar with a wall covering the retreat right away. Yep. Honestly, the more I look... Tacita is really making a really good case for himself here. I mean, if that CV at any point gets forwarded to the Donald, then he's gonna be hired immediately. He has walls. They're beautiful walls. He has all the walls. Really quick walls. I mean, look at this wall. It's beautiful. Everybody says so. He's hired. But now with 20 versus 20, we're having, first of all, a little bit more drill action with the focusing diodes. We're also seeing the Imani resilience and the Tyrant Maw. God knows why. I don't. Tyrant Maw is in, but Muradin with a double Storm Bolt can for sure now lock them down even harder. The fuck was that? Did he just fat finger his R button or did I miss something? Tracer just fat fingered his R. Look at that Maw, by the way. I am impressed. That was a fantastic Maw. Dehaka is down too. And here we go. Melman is dead. That's 2 kills and an opportunity to either go for keep or go for the Dragonite. Honestly, they should do both. I don't... Okay, they sent 3 heroes top. I have no clue why. What is happening here? Where is Muradin going? What are you doing? Pushing mid keep? Help your team to push the bottom keep while the rest of your team takes the objective. Muradin gets... oh, if they get the kill here, that would be ridiculous. Oh, it's perfect. There's the Dragonite. Let's see if they can end with that. Thing is, with the Dragonite coming in, they are supposed to at least get a keep out of it, but of course you are trying to go for core here. I have only once seen Suljin hit his R button, by the way. He might have used it a few more times, but I didn't pay attention to it. But the only time when I really saw him use his ultimate was when he was trying to run away from Tracer. Good luck with that, by the way. And yeah, didn't do a lot for them. Yeah, get all the keeps. Why end the game? Nah, ending the game is boring. We're getting the towers now. Okay. Oh, I love it. Get the tower. No, don't get the keep. Get the tower. Oh, it's glorious. Absolutely glorious. Take that keep down, you oversized lizard. There we go. Could have gone for the core, by the way. That was an easy game to end. Now they lost 2 heroes and have to actually back. They're probably going to lose a few more in the process. In Panic is on a cleanup duty as they're trying to take the entire team apart, but they can't. Now the catapults are pushing in through the middle. The interesting thing is that the bottom, the fort is still there. Catapult might change it eventually, but I think ETC is probably going to try and save that. But yeah, this game is absolute gold. It's absolutely fantastic. Division 7 at its finest. These are the plays where we're casting these games, guys. 73,000 for Tracer, 71,000 for Tychus. So yeah, Tracer's actually taking over in the damage department. One of the big problems if you look at the rest of the damage dealt by Panic, despite the fact that they have the kills, they are still lacking some there. They need to capitalize on kills. Look what happened. What happened? They lost 2 keeps. They killed 3 heroes in the process. What did they do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Again, keep Dehaka back. Let him clear the lanes. He is the global. And then use the rest of your team, first of all, to invade this camp. Invade the camp. Take the fort. Take maybe the fort at the bottom of the map. Something along those lines, just to help yourself a little bit. You need to go for the structures. If you have an advantage, especially this late in the game, with death timers being this high, then you need to go for it. Big Maw, and Tracer got touched again. Tracer down, Tychus is also dead, but the Diode is still doing work and taking the second kill against Tacita as well. So now they can go for the final key, because why would you go for the core? There's a keep, and there are 4 siege giants now too. Ladies, if you learn anything out of this game, anything, then always remember, do something, like once you take kills, think about what you can do on the map. Are there camps up that you can invade? If you have a global, let the global defend. You can go for structures, you can take objectives, you can take camps, and if your opponent has lost 2 or 3 heroes, go always for the opponent's camps first and invade them, take them away from them, use them against them. In this case, this was not followed, and so despite the fact that Panic has more kills than the opponent, has dominated the entire game in terms of kills, they lost every single structure, didn't take anything down, and are now being forced into a 3rd game. Suljin completes both of his quests when it doesn't matter anymore, and that's the end of the core right here. GG, and played by just the tip against In Panic, and we are heading into the final game of the series. Game number 3, ladies. Just the tip. The John Wolf fans against In Panic. On the left side, the horse is playing Muradin again, once more. We have Hanzo, played by Warren. Lily was so fantastic in the last game that they just said, okay, we're going to play her once more. Vazabaten on Sonya. Minio on Junkrat. And In Panic, I mean, the only explanation for the combos that we're seeing right now is that after game number 1, they started to celebrate a little bit and start blazing 420 right there. And now they are high as a kite, and all of a sudden they're picking weird combos. We have Firan on Blaze, so apparently a bit of a main tank setup for them. Agro on Maiev, Dude Overkill on Malthael, Melman on Vala, and Jakova on Oriel. Now, generally speaking, I don't mind Blaze, but it's just like, why would you go into Blaze and Malthael plus Maiev? Like, that's a little bit out there. I mean, this is a map that just screams for someone like Johanna, for example, and if you can't get her, you can still make plays around Garrosh, Diablo, I mean, dozens of others. Add that Blaze to the offlane and you're good to go. I mean, things are starting off well for them, and they are obviously stacking also quite a bit of CC on at least the first 2 heroes. But let's see what they can actually do here. Can they win game 3? Game number 2, let's face it, they shit the bed a little bit. Now they're going for the kills again, and this is always where they excel. I mean, the In Panic boys, they have been fantastic when it comes to killing stuff. Now they just have to try and also play the game, aka try to go for structures and take the objective. That's a little bit of level Division 7 mentality, which is like, wait a second, you mean we don't win the game when we have the most kills? What are you talking about? No, dude, you have to take a corner and... Oh, should have told us that to begin with. Talking about telling people things. Muradin, you should stay away from them. Like, you are way too far out right now. That's 2 kills already in 1 minute against you. That's not a good look, my friend. And you are not really one to look at to begin with. I mean, a little bit too short. That beer needs some trimming. And let's just face it, you could definitely do with a shower too. So, 2 kills against 0 early on in the game. And In Panic is starting to dominate a little bit. So, Firan at the bot lane pushes through together with Maiev. Again, not the real setup that you would normally have. Traditionally, it's more so that Malthael that you sit at the bottom of the map, but he's facing off against Sonya, so at least the matchup here is more or less correct. But I am intrigued to know what the level 4 talents are going to be, because in Division 7 you can never be sure if the people really know what meta is. So I'm just looking towards that Vala, and I'm terrified that we're going to see the ding 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 on level 4. Creed of the Noob is always a temptation for lower league players, but I want to see that multi-shot. Give me some good AoE clear here and some nice damage output here as well. That's what we need. No! Ah! Ladies and gentlemen, never pick this talent. It is shit. I can, like, words cannot express how trash this talent is. You would be better off not picking a talent here. It's horrible. The only thing that this thing does is it dings. It's literally the only thing. It's like ding, 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 ding. That's the only thing. It's a horrible, horrible talent. You do not... Oh my god, and they're losing this camp too. She survives, that's insane. But yeah, they're losing this one. And they might even lose Blaze. You do not win a game because of Creed of the Noob. You win a game despite Creed of the Noob. It's literally a... It's only good for you if you're already winning talent. It's horrible, believe me. It is absolute trash. If you're already winning the game, if it's dead even, then you get some auto attacks in. The second you fall behind, you want to have some poke spells that you can use from a distance, and then you won't be able to ever stack this. In a normal game, especially when your opponent is halfway decent at the game, not total trash, you will not be able to stack anything there. And in case that you've ever wondered what does actually more damage, a completed Creed of the Noob, which in and of itself usually happens way too late in the game to have any actual impact, or a multi-shot build, test it out. Play a couple of brawls, for example. A brawl is the perfect setup for Creed of the Noob. It's the perfect setup. You're playing a 5 versus 5 on a single lane where you have constant fights and you get endless stacking in on your level 4. And a lot of players in brawls complete that talent 4 minutes in, and there it's actually useful. But even there, if you have 2 Valas on your team, or Vala on each side, the Vala that goes for a multi-shot build will have more damage by default. It's a horrible choice. Rent over, but never take it. It's horrible. It is absolute garbage. So, yeah. Ah! Can't believe that that happens again. Alright, so with the auto attacks taken, now that you know how I really feel, with the auto attacks taken, we actually have the wave clear pretty much mostly through Blaze. I mean, there's a little bit more to it, of course, when we're looking towards Malthel and Maiev, but Blaze is going to be a big part of the wave clear that they rock here. It's 1 kills against 2 now, and now I'm honestly a little bit worried. Muradin is the one that will be affected by it the most if Vala is getting some stacks in. Outside of that, not really too many, and Muradin should actually just start to save his Dwarf launch so that he can jump out of the fight instead of into the fight. That would really help him quite a bit. Of course, Auriel can also help out Vala a little bit later on with the auto attack speed increase. But right now, they're already losing ground, and for good reason. I mean, Vala went literally into a talent that for the next 10 minutes is going to be absolutely useless to her. So instead, we're having the blue team starting to dominate the turn-in points. And as both teams have a potential turn-in, thanks to that last kill, we've seen some gems lost by In Panic. So Vazabaten turns in 2, which means 2 more gems are needed, and then they're going to succeed here. Yeah, Junkrat, I'm not sure how to tell you that, but you need to get the hell out of there. You're on 26 stacks, you can't die. There's the blue team with the first objective. Vala is currently sitting on 16 stacks, and Lily for some reason is playing punching ball. I mean, she's literally just sitting there saying like, kill me! They weren't able to pull that off, but they nearly took the kill against Maiev. And the bottom lane is already getting pressured as the Web Weavers come down. So the blue team is definitely on a bit of a streak there. So with that said, let's say what we actually see there. There's a little bit of a slam build for Sonya too, which is another build that outside of Brawls you shouldn't really pick. Actually, Brawls can be kind of fun because it shakes the meta up a bit and you're playing different talents and different heroes that excel there that in a normal game are not really all that great. And again, I'm not ripping anybody for playing stuff like this in a quick match, but if you actually try to win a competitive setup, then you might want to consider some other choices. Muradin, for example, now with a pretty solid build, the question is what he takes on the 13, because the last time that he found himself in this situation, he went for the Bronze Beard Rage, but with his level 4 talent choice, he should go for the healing static there, would give him a little bit more. Vala, by the way, like, I mean, we are nearly on level 10, and Vala, despite the fact that she's going up against also low-level players, has only 25 stacks so far. So we are already on level 10, that's 6 levels after she got her talent, and she's only at 25 stacks, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea here. And they're on the back foot now. And for Vala, in this situation, to actually step up and try and get some auto attacks in is tricky, to say the least. There's the rocket! And yeah, we're embracing the meme strike. It's not only the meme strike for Hanzo, but we also have the rocket in play. So no Riptire in this game. Sonya hasn't made a choice yet. I mean, at this point you might as well just go into Leap. We are already down the rabbit hole. And of course it's combustion. Why did I even doubt that for a second? Of course. Hashtag buff bunker. Bunker, too much coordination needed to use it in Division 7, so instead we're getting combustion here in this game. But yep, there we go. Vala gets a few more auto attacks, gets hit by the meme strike, and nearly goes down to that. Here comes the kill against Lily, against Muradin. So nice, they're getting at least a few of those through. And of course, it's Lee. Whoa! And she immediately jumps out. Alright, that gives at least an opportunity for the red team to get a turn-in of their own. The only one that's trying to do something about it is Junkrat, and he nearly was able to interrupt it long enough. No talent picked yet for Auriel. Lately we're seeing a lot of resurrection after Blizzard buffed the talent. Pretty heavily, actually. And, well, outside of that, what are we gonna get? Vala by now, again, 11 on 34 stacks, just to give you a bit of an idea. And nobody come at me with this garbage of like, but Khaldor, she gets also 10% attack speed. Have you actually tried in trial mode what 10% attack speed means for like an auto attacker like Vala in normal game? Especially on the mechanical skill level of Division 7? The answer is jack shit, nada, nothing, niente, niet. It's just like no value whatsoever. If you put Snitch on that hero and you give him 10% attack speed, yeah, Snitch is going to get some use out of that. If you put anybody below High Grandmaster on it, yeah, the value is going to be very limited, if non-existent. And even if Vala completes the talent, it's still not great. But, as I said before, just wait how long it takes her to actually do anything with this thing. I mean, either way. Now that we have Muradin jumping out and at least a bit of pressure from the red team thanks to the camp that we took, we'll see what else they're gonna get. Ah! That could be a kill. Oh! Muradin! Ah, that's a kill. That's a stack. That's the second one. Whoa! Triple connect. But might just be a little bit too much for the rocket ride. Alright, in comes the rocket, and they actually get the kill against Blaze. Could be a resurrect, and it is a resurrect. Turn-ins are happening! Spin the win, baby! Where's the slam when you need it? Oh, not there. But in comes Junkrat. He wants the kill, and he doesn't get it. Both of the teams currently have enough gems for another turn-in, and Sonya decided that it's also time to just go straight into another camp here. But now we have 30,000 damage on Hanzo, 24,000, 23,000 on Sonya and Junkrat. Vala and Malthael are currently sharing top damage on the team with 24,000. Yeah, Vala's multi-shot build would really be needed here. The wave clear alone would absolutely be worth it, but also on the damage side, you would just have way more of a safe poke, especially in a defensive position to get something done here. But yeah, let's try and have a bit of a look at that with level 13 talents now in for both. But the blue team with another Weapon Wave. Just the tip. I'm gonna push it a little bit more than just. It's never just the tip. But yeah, so they're just trying to push straight through the middle. And, well, that's one structure down. Maiev is also a little bit far in here. That could have become a problem with a good stun. But let's see. Bot lane. There's another setup. Oh, and the kill. That's the third stack now. I mean, honestly, he's stacking like a madman. Might die here, but still, that's not a lot of gems lost. I mean, it was one, I think. And at the same time, gets another stack. I call worth. Alright. Here comes another quick setup with a horse. Getting another Stormbolt connected. 16 right now. Went into Bronze Beard Rage again, by the way. So, yeah, for the synergy, you kind of want to have healing static. That's the best that you can get if you're looking for sustainability here. Bronze Beard Rage might be a fun talent, but still. If you're the only real main tank, then that's usually what you try and go for. This is a bit odd to see, because I would have thought that someone would try and take care of that, but nobody does. Vala continues with the memes even more. Tempered by Discipline is now taken. Now, actually, read the talent description. Get wrecked. Yeah, dude Overkill says, like, I need the gems. But he's gonna die too. YOLOing for the gems here. But just to give you guys a little bit of an idea, just look at what this talent does. While at 10 stacks of Hatred, emphasis on while at 10 stacks of Hatred, your auto attacks heal. Now, Vala got 46 auto attacks in against heroes since level 4. 46. Now, of course, for the Hatred stacks, also attacks against minions matter. But as you've seen, probably, she's been running around quite a bit. If you're going up against a team with Junkrat, with Hanzo, you kind of want to go Gloom here either way. So that talent choice for an auto attacker that clearly has problems getting auto attacks in is another one that doesn't really do a whole lot for you. If you end up in a game where you have a frontline that protects you the entire time, you're maybe playing with a double support and you get auto attack after auto attack in, your opponent doesn't have any spell damage to mark on, then that might be a choice that could be kind of viable. But in this case, believe me, this auto attack build is not going to do them any favors. And by the way, I'm actually not ripping into auto attack style. If you want to play an auto attack build with Vala, you should always go Manticore on 16 and then Farfly Quiver on level 20. That's fantastic. But for that, you don't need those two talents here in the middle. Maiev is dead again. Oh, and the stacks just keep coming for Malthael. Malthael dies every single time he gets a hit, but man, damn, so those stacks are helping him in the long run. Whoa! And there's the hits. Vala tries to get the kill, but she can't. 16 is now there. It should give us Manticore. And, well, also with 16, the Giant Slammer is now in. Stone form for Muradin. And there's the Manticore. This is the crucial auto attack talent. And then you pick level 20 Farfly Quiver with that, which gives you, of course, great range. You have more safety in your auto attacks, so you have an easier time keeping the Hatred stacks up as well. But that's exactly how you try and put that together. But up to this point, this hasn't done anything. Again, this doesn't do anything. Look at this, we're 14 minutes in. guys, do yourself and your team a favor and pick multi-shot talents on level 4 and level 7. And then you can later on level 16 make the choice. Do you want to spec heavier into multi-shot, or do you want to go into a bit of an auto attack style against their frontline tanks? Exceptions are, of course, Battlefield of Eternity, where it's all about the arrow build. Some other maps where you can build an arrow build too. Auriel at least is helping out her girl, so right now we have the additional attack speed with the Will of Heaven taken. And it's 9 kills against 7. I mean, from a kill count perspective, this is actually a pretty close game. We're looking at the damage output, and Vala is now trailing behind Malthael with 32,000. We have Hanzo on 44k, and Sonya is... Where did you want to go, dude? Don't tell me that it was intentional. I mean, at this pace, it was just like, well, there we go. 0 deaths only on Auriel and on Hanzo. Those are the only ones. And, well, there we go. There's a lockdown with the Rain of Vengeance. The kill against Sonya, and they get the second. Nice. Vala is actually starting to get some damage out through the auto attacks. Still not thanks to the level 4 talent, but hey, at least in this case she did a bit of work. Problem is that the web weavers in the mid lane also did some work, and that took the entire wall down, plus nearly the keep. Bottom lane is looking very similar, so they might have lost the fight, but they still were able to get some value out of it and could later on move in for that. And in Panic ends up with the same problem that they had in game number 2. They're not getting anything done from those kills. They are not controlling the objective, which means that they don't kill structures. So they have lost pretty much everything on the outer circle of defense, and the keeps are also extremely low on HP. We're now 15, 16 minutes into the game. We have level 18 versus level 19. And the one thing that they need is maybe a good team fight and then go for boss. Talking boss, why the fuck didn't they go for boss? They had time after the kill. You could have gone for the boss and tried to get some momentum. They turned into web weavers now. Of course they needed to defend their keeps too, granted. But there were only 2 heroes alive. And those were low. You could easily have defended with 2 heroes, go with the rest to the boss, and then rotate topside and play around it. Instead, they only go for the turn-in, which is better than nothing. But now they need to push with it. And they're splitting again. They're pushing the lane that is the farthest out, actually, with 2 heroes. Guys, again, you need to try and get structures down. Go for an aggressive stand somewhere on the map. Look where you can get the most value with a push and then go for it. Instead, they focus on the lane that is the least pushed. And they allow the opponent to freely take down the web weaver at the mid lane. They let Sonya rotate alone down to the bottom of the map, and they're just going for a traditional team fight. Again, try and move onto a lane, focus on it, push it down. That's at least a kill. There's another one. Nicely done by Malthael, who's now sitting at 5 stacks, so the cooldown reduction is really starting to kick in for him. But there they start to push to level 20 now on both sides, and that gives us cooldown reduction for Hanzo, just to name one. Vala should go for the Firefly Quiver, and she does. I think now we're going to finally see her complete that quest. But again, we are on level 20. So, have fun with that. Also, in addition to that, we have now the ult taken, Angel of Death from him. Oh, God. Careful. Turn-in attempt again. I mean, they have enough for a turn-in. They actually have enough to get another web weaver wave. And they have a 5 versus 3. They could have gone for a boss maybe even again, considering that Sonya went down to the bottom of the map, but instead they're currently busy attempting to get a turn-in. There's the whoa! And there's Slam Bam! Down goes Maiev, and so do the gems that she held. Still enough gems in the hands of Panic to get another turn-in, and they need one desperately. They also need to deal with the bot lane, which is currently the job of Melman on his Vala, because if they don't, then this is going to destroy the keep for sure. Yeah, so with that done, up towards the top. If they make a play for boss right now and sneak it, that would actually be kind of funny too. Yeah, no revive here on Maiev, by the way, so that would have been a potential play too, especially after they started to move in for that, but apparently she wants to keep that cooldown to herself. Granted, by now it's only 27 seconds on the timer, so it's a little bit too late, especially since they know that the opponent is pushing in there. But a turn-in, I mean, this is a free keep. As a freebie. Keep goes down for totally free. Blue team is doing well on that. They identify I mean, I say that after the game where they actually just went for every single keep instead of just ending the game. But at least in this case, they identify that there's an opportunity to take the keep down, and they did. If they do the same thing at the bottom, then they have 2 lanes continuously pushing with catapults. That's all that they actually need to do. So with that, 62,000 damage now on Hanzo. Vala on 45k, way behind Mephisto. But gets the kill in against Junkrat. And it's actually impressive. I mean, she has a useless level 4 talent. But there's the kill against a good old Blaze now. And the fight is still continuing. Fight continues. Here comes, by the way, Malthael. He's back to business. Vala is in trouble, I might add. Wants to get the ult through. Doesn't have the cooldown. Ah, there it is. And bam, bam. Quest completed. Congratulations. It only took 19 minutes for you to actually get something out of it. Just imagine where they could be now if they went into some talent choices that could have actually helped Vala and made the hero better, not worse. But right now, they're getting the kills. It's 15 kills against 11, guys, and Panic is all of a sudden sitting in the spot where they might be able to do something. And I have good news for all the Panic fans out there. Vala is now starting to become useful. Problem is that both of the keeps are down and those catapults are starting to push against the core, so they gotta be careful with this. Hanzo went for a bit of a YOLO move there, as did Sonya. She was punished for it. But yeah, Hanzo needs to be careful. He's not the only one, by the way. Maiev should probably be careful too. So with the boss already pushing in, what does the Division 7 player of today do once that the boss starts pushing 20 minutes in? Exactly, run away from the boss. You let the opponent defend for free. Yeah, they get the turn in. In an ideal world, what they should have done, and you can also like note it down for yourself, if you know that the boss is soon going to be taken, then you turn in and you cap the both of them roughly at the same time. Well, you cap both first and then you go turn in. Maiev is trying to defend. Obviously, those 2 catapults, or the catapults are going to take the web weavers in the mid and bot lane down. They need to try and end to the top. You want to have Maiev now moving topside and then trying to end there. So you do as much as they possibly can with the boss. The problem is that since they moved away from the boss very early, that thing doesn't even go for the keep. So that's another lost opportunity for the red team to actually end this. And I mean, it's actually impressive if you think about it. They had a chance here to go for it, but instead the entire lane is left alone. They never pushed for it. Not with the web weaver, not with the boss. They have a real problem identifying where they can win the game and go for it right now. I'm ripping into them a little bit too much, but really, these are things that you need to learn for your own game. This is actually a nice trap that they have here. And they should go for it, but they should always lead with the stun. Yeah, like this, for example. The problem is that this time it's actually my effort that bites the dust first. And a good heal from Lily is keeping everybody in play here. Even the ult for Malthael can't change that. There's a revive opportunity and it's already taken, but another quick jump, and Vala, Malthael, and Oriel are all down. Vala had so much fun dying that she actually dies twice, and that should be game right here. There was an opportunity for Panic to take it, but they didn't. They missed out on it, and unless the blue team decides that they want to take the top keep, they will go for the core and end the game right here. Yeah, well, a little bit of a fun one. Pretty interesting series, actually. A lot of choices, a lot to talk about. A little bit of a Khaldor rant, an occasion or two. But I hope that at least a few of those things were helping everyone that's watching this right now. And it's kind of funny, too, let's just face it. Very kill-heavy game, 17 against 16. Full 5-man wipe to finish it off. And just the tip takes it with a 2-1 victory against Panic. And to end the game, again, if you have never heard of Josh Wolf, check him out. Check him out on YouTube. You're not going to regret it. Thank me later. GG, and well played.